And we're live with Bobcat Insider with Coach Mark Smith. And Darren is out sick, so y'all get stuck with me.
And me.
And
we got Zach.
We got Zach here.
Zach just happened to be here celebrating his wife's birthday. So we asked him if he wanted to sit in, and he said yes, so we did that.
I sure did, and it was good food, too. I enjoyed it.
See, shenanigans, that's right. We appreciate him. And
Coach, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Well, happy birthday to your wife, first of all.
Oh, thank you, Coach.
Be
Appreciate
here
that.
tonight and celebrate with us. It's going to be a great night here.
It is.
Bobcat football.
Yeah. Y'all got a good week's rest?
We did. Yeah, we really did. It was a great week. You know, I always look at open weeks really in two different ways. You know, I think number one, you do need the rest and the recovery that's required at this point during the season. And then number two, is to also have, the mental disposition to know that we got to go attack the week of practice. You know, I think that human nature, sometimes it's for teams to say, okay, we don't have a game at the end of the week. Yeah. Let's just kind of relax and get through this week. No.
Yeah.
I think that, if you want to perform like a champion, you have to practice like that all the time, regardless of if there's a game coming up that Friday. So we did cut back tremendously on the amount of work, but the work that we got was with great intensity, great enthusiasm, and a couple of really good practices. Got a jump start on Midland Legacy, so got 3 recovery sessions in during the week. Enjoyed the weekend, off for the players. So, hopefully everybody's rested and ready to go. Good practice this morning, good start to the week.
Now, Coach, this is a question I've always wanted to ask. I know some coaches have their bye-week routines, and some of them cut back a lot. But I've known coaches that'll go through Friday night run-through, they'll just to keep the team in, like as a tradition, if you will. Do you have anything that you're specific to your bye weeks that you just try to make sure you do with your team?
That's a great question. I really don't. I think that every team and every season is unique, and I think that you have to really feel what does your team need at that point, that you have the bye week during the season. And for us, we were not greatly banged up. We had a lot of guys that just suffering from some nags here and there. So we increased. We normally do our recovery sessions twice during the week. We did it 3 times this week. We also got out and did a great community service project on Friday morning.
That.
We had all the guys out at 9 different elementary schools on Friday morning, opening car doors, for those kids. And so
that's awesome.
It was a lot of fun. Got a lot of great feedback, and that's also part of what we do is you want the guys to get back. Use the platform that they've been given in this program and in this community as Bobcat football players to give back. And they went back to, if they grew up here, they went to the elementary school that they grew up in and did that. And if they didn't, we kind of assigned them where to go. But that was also part of the week. But I think that every year is unique. So I just kind of looked at it from that lens. And, we practiced 3 days during the week. We did 2 offensive and defensive practices, and 1 day was completely special teams in there. And then got a jump start on Midland Legacy.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, just to give you another bit of feedback on those football players, my two young kids go to Bowie, and when we pulled up, their 2 players were there, and I was like, hey, look, football players.
Yeah.
When they got home, though, they come home, Dad, we got to see the football players. We got to see the Bobcats. And they were so tickled they got to see the Bobcats.
Well, that's amazing. I'm glad you said that. I told the guys, open those doors. I did a demonstration for them. I showed them kind of, okay, all right, Jaden was on the ground right here, and I said, all right, Jaden, you're all the guys were sitting in front of me, and I said, okay, I'm going to give you an example. I pretended like I opened a door, and he's right there, and kind of what not to do first, which was just didn't say anything to him and just kind of come on out, as opposed to open the door and greet him with a smile, make sure you have some kind of personal engagement. I love that jersey you got on. What a cool backpack, because you can make a great impact on someone and their day, and they'll go home just like they did with you and said, Dad, guess what happened today? That's exactly what we were going for.
Even my daughter, who doesn't like football, was like, it was so cool the Bobcats were there.
That's awesome.
And that's important, like you said, to give back, because those kids are the student leaders. So eventually, I went to Brownwood. I wanted to be a Lion whenever I was growing up. Why? Because I saw those kids play, and they were, nice to us and things like that. That's important, and I think a lot of people miss that. And I'm glad that you do that, because it's giving back to the community. It's that much important to not only those kids that you're doing that to, your student athletes, and then to the community and those parents.
Absolutely.
Such a small thing that makes such a great impact.
That's right.
Absolutely. So, Coach, we're going to talk about Midland Legacy coming in. They're 1-4, but that record's deceptive.
Very much
There was the
deceptive.
question.
Yeah, that is this is a really good football team that we're playing here, and I told the team just that, as we wrapped up last week and again today. Their record may be 1-4, but they've lost to 4 really quality opponents. I think all 4 opponents are undefeated that they've lost to at this point, and this is what happens when you're a really good team, and Legacy has been kind of the class of the district out here in West Texas in recent past. And I've been at these realignment meetings where, man, I need to fill 3 games on my non-district schedule, and you're looking and nobody's there.
Right.
They don't want to play, and I'm sure that that's a situation that Clint found himself in when he schedules Allen, Euless Trinity, Lake Travis, Ruston, Louisiana. I'm sure that's the spot that he found himself in there. So his team will be better for it, when you play good people that obviously, elevate your competition that you're in and the preparation that you have. So this is a really good team, coming into this game.
And Coach, I'll tell you, you talk about the scheduling and everything, and Allen and Trinity and Lake Travis, coming from the Dallas area and all that. But that's a long trip down I-20 for Ruston.
It's a long trip. I don't know if they flew or if they drove.
But that's
I'm
a
not
long
certain.
trip. That's a big game to schedule.
Listen, I've been down I-20 for a long time, but I don't know if I've ever been down that long for a game before. But certainly I've coached against Allen and Euless Trinity before. But this is some really good opponents that they play. Really good.
So let's talk about your common opponent. That was Abilene High. You lost to them. They lost to them, right? Or
They
beat
them.
They
That's
beat
the
them.
one
I'm sorry.
way.
That's
They
right.
beat them.
And so that common opponent, do you find anything from that film, watching that film, that maybe you can use?
I think, and I've used this a little bit as well. Abilene High has also played Odessa Permian, beat them by 5 earlier in the year, and you look for some of those things. And in the game that Midland Legacy played them, Abilene High's best receiver was out during that game, and he had a really good game against us. And I told our team too, I think we're a different team than week 1 when we played Abilene High. I think should we line up and play them again now, I would believe the result would be different.
Sure.
Our team has been on a great trajectory, and I do believe, the way we're playing now, we probably would be 5-0. But that's part of growing and growing through
absolutely.
a season and kind of, working through some of those things within your team. But I do think that there is some, commonality that you can find with a common opponent and really gauge some things on a deeper level than you would on a team that's unfamiliar to you.
Right.
Yeah, agreed.
And this is my favorite time of the year because it's a little Southwest Conference, and everybody, it doesn't matter records 1-4, 2-3, whatever, everybody comes to town to play.
It's a new season.
Yeah,
it's
it
a new
is a new
season.
season.
0-0. They say you have 3 seasons. You've got your non-district, you've got your district, and you got your playoffs.
Coach,
and
you stole
everything
my
kind of
thunder
starts
there.
over there.
You stole
I
my
took
thunder,
it from you, Zach.
You did.
Right on your wife's
That's okay.
birthday
You said
and
it
everything.
really well,
Man,
though.
yeah. Should have let you have that one. Yeah.
You said it really well, though. Probably better than I would have said it.
Yeah. He's a lot more well-spoken than you are.
Agreed. Agreed.
That's the Air Force that did it to us.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Coach. I couldn't help it.
That's okay.
So who are we going to talk to tonight after you, or during your middle segment?
Coach Destry Cope is going to be here. He's got the safeties. We got them all. I see most of them are here tonight. Coach Cope is here as well. I believe I saw him back there somewhere. There he is.
Oh, there he is, right there.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yep. Got his mom and dad with him here as well. Coach Cope is here. Yeah, it's really wonderful. Yeah, Coach Cope's done an amazing job with our defense, and you've seen the progression from them from the first game to, this last game, and our defense is really playing well right now, and it just is a great testament to his leadership within that group and how he can get them to understand concepts and what we're trying to do, and the safety group in particular has done a great job, with their part of the defense. Talk to the guys. You do your 1-11. There's 11 guys out there, but, man, if you don't know what you're doing, the ball finds you in this game. So it's important that all 11 guys are on the same page all the time, and there's a lot of moving parts on defense. And Coach Cope's done a great job getting those guys collectively buying in, playing with great effort, great intensity, and what's required to play down in and down out on defense these days. And
yes, sir.
I'm excited about watching those guys play this week.
It's fun to watch that D play. I love D, but watching them play and watching them progress over this year has been amazing.
Well, it's really been. I was looking at it right before we got, started right here. From what it's been this season, Waco had 91 yards of offense for the game. That's hard to do against air. Okay, I know that.
Wow.
hard, and Belton only 146 the week before that. And it's just what a progression these guys have made, and just so proud of them. Coach Cope, our defensive players, our defensive staff, just for everything that they've done, getting the guys ready to play week in and week out.
Right.
So before we go to break, Coach, I want to ask you a question. Your first year here, how difficult is it coming in, building your – and at 6As don't operate like most 4As and 3As. Obviously, it's a different game in Texas football at the 5A, 6A level. How hard is it coming in here as a new coach and building your staff to implement your program in a school that's had tradition for a long time?
That's a great question, and, that was something that I was extremely mindful of from the beginning. The last time, that I was a head coach, it's been over a decade ago, last high school head coaching job that I had, and I rushed into a lot of things.
Okay.
All right, I want to do this, and this right now and get it done. I wanted to measure twice and cut once here, so I was patient in implementing things that were just slow, very meaningful and thought out, implementation. And I wanted that kind of 10,000-foot view of the program and see really where are we at, identify what the issues were, what are the things that we do really well, and then try to complement that, but also instill the culture that I was looking for within the program. And I think the patience that I used early on in our winter conditioning program really paid off. The team was able to capture them relatively quickly, and I knew once that buy-in was there from the team. This was a hungry team that wanted to win. This wasn't a team that was resistant at all. This was a team that was ready for winning, ready for victory. And then you mentioned here too, I chose San Angelo. We had a few options, and San Angelo spoke to me and my family. What a great community, just surrounding with supportive people, with a can-do attitude, with an administration that just says, what do you need to be successful, and let us get it for you. That's what it takes to win championships, and that's what I envision for this program. This is not going to be a flash in the pan. Hey, let's feel good about winning 5 or 6 and try to get in the playoffs. I want to win and go deep year after year after year.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, my wife and I, we're here. This is our second year in San Angelo, and I'll tell you, it spoke to us as well. Now, follow up on that question. I think you kind of touched on this a little bit already, but how have the kids taken to the way you've implemented your program?
The kids have been the best part. They have just said, okay, what do I need to do, Coach? And their attitude is we tell them exactly when to be there. They show up and they're ready to work. But I think that as a coach, you have to make sure that you instill that into the team. Here's the reasons why. And I think when I started coaching 25 years ago, you could just say, hey, Johnny, I want you to do this, and they did it just kind of blindly. I think the only difference now is that players want to know why. They want the explanation. So I make sure I do that up on the front end. This is exactly what we're doing, and this is why we're doing it, okay? And this is where it'll pay off, and this is where it will benefit you. So, and we got a very trusting team, and, they have completely jumped into the deep end of the pool, and now we're swimming, you know, and we were treading water there a little bit at the beginning. Now we're swimming, our heads above water. We're doing great.
It's a new season.
It's a new season.
It's a
new fresh start.
Now, I believe we have –
let's go to trivia.
I believe we have a trivia question. So, before the current 3-game win streak, when was the last time the Bobcats had a 3-game winning streak? 22, 21, 19, or 2020?
And we will answer that whenever we come back.
Absolutely.
And we will have Coach Cope up here.
Right.
Check out why First Community Federal Credit Union is the #1 local auto lender in the Concho Valley.
With great low rates on new, used, and refinance autos, we can save you money. First Community has great payment options and low prices for GAP, extended warranty, and credit life insurance, so we can make your payment fit your budget. So be smart, bank smart, and contact First Community for your auto financing needs.
Dear San Angelo, we share the belief that expectations are meant to be exceeded.
You think a pat on the back and trust should be earned.
You admire those who always do their best and bring out the best in others.
You believe we should always help our neighbor.
You have a history of embracing excellence and professionalism.
You feel the way we treat each other reflects our community's character.
We are proud to say, San Angelo, you are our hometown.
At Schertz Landscape, we care about the quality of trees that you put in your landscape. Therefore, we grow our trees here locally in the Concho Valley. As a certified arborist, I not only care about the quality of your tree being planted, but I am also qualified as a tree risk assessor. I can evaluate the health of an older tree or the risk that it may have to you and your property. Come see us at Schertz Landscape, where we care about the quality of your trees.
Since 1957, Medical Arts Pharmacy has been your neighborhood professionals, welcoming you when you come in and delivering when you can't. Through all the advancements in medicine, therapies, and equipment, Medical Arts has grown with you to make sure your family has the very latest in care. Today, we can offer you immunizations, all of your medicines in special multi-dose packaging, and compounding right here in your neighborhood pharmacy, where some things have changed with the times, but the best things never will. Medical Arts Pharmacy.
When having a truck is essential, you should drive a Tundra from Mitchell Toyota. A Toyota Tundra is a formidable combination of power, space, and technology. Plus, it's a great-looking truck. Mitchell Toyota, where we put the deal back in dealership.
Pain is never planned, and recovery time is never convenient. But the last thing you want to do is wait for answers. At Angelo MRI, you are more than a number. We can get you results within 24 hours at a price you can afford. So when you need to get back into the game fast, tell your doctor you want to go to Angelo MRI. We hope you don't need us this season. But in case you do, remember, it's your health, your choice, your MRI.
Check out why.
Oh, and our camera got messed up there a little bit. So, welcome back. And we'll fix this camera real fast, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so here's the trivia. Before the current streak, when was the last time the Bobcats had a 3-game winning streak? Was it A, 2022, B, 2021, or C, 2020? Any of you guys know? You think you got an idea? Hang on. You going with B?
Really?
Is it B?
Go
it was A.
A.
Yep, it was A. And it was actually the miracle on the Concho, for those of y'all that know it, where Tyler Hale threw that Hail Mary pass to Ben, and they managed to get it in the end zone. That was in the middle of that 3-game streak. So it was a great little thing. So I'm Arlen Ponder. I'm back with Coach Cope. And Coach, tell me who your boys are here.
This is Bryson Sander, Austin Lucky, Reed Noble, Michael Duran, Jackson Kennedy.
All right, welcome, fellas. So look at this sharp crew here. Yeah.
Well, I really bring the picture down, but the other ones look good.
Yeah, you know, it's old guys sitting here. So, Coach, your defense has matured so much. It's great to watch it go from the Abilene High game to where we are now. And I think you heard me say I love watching them now because they fly to the ball. And I get to hear a little bit because my daughter Danica is dating David Osmond. Okay. And so David comes to the house and he's like, oh my gosh, you know, Mr. Ponder, I love it. I love flying to the ball. I love doing this. And so he sings your praises big time. So you've got some disciples here that are following you and drinking the Kool-Aid. So how'd you manage to get that going?
Well, it's funny. We actually talked about some of the disciples today during our after-school meeting. So it's funny how the world turns. The kids are doing a tremendous job. You know, they've really bought in, kind of like what Coach Smith was saying. When we got here, they were very hungry to be good. And I think most kids want to be good.
Right.
The hard part is to be disciplined enough to chase greatness every day. And, you know, and Coach Smith talks about, you know, being involved and having the right attitude every day to get better. And we've talked a bunch about, you know, just trying to be 1/16 of an inch better every day. And if we do that from August to hopefully December, you'll be amazed at how much better you can get throughout the year.
Right.
And so that's what we're trying to do. You know, we had basically, you know, 5 games to try to get better. Now we have 5 games that really matter and trying to get to that third season, which is the playoff season. And then however long you go there, you enjoy every game that you get because those truly are gifts.
Sure. Yeah, and so where did you come from before? What were you doing before this?
I was the defensive coordinator at Clear Falls, and when I got there, it was a newer school, but the school had never had a winning season.
Okay.
And so when I had the opportunity to come up, a friend of mine was there. Basically what we were talking about before we came back.
Right.
The place I was at, I was asked to not come back because we had our head coach retired. New coach came in and said, thanks for the memories. You got to go somewhere else. And I was good with that because it was probably time for me to go.
Right.
But when I got to Falls, we had a 5-5 record. And after that, we kind of progressed into a place to when our kids lost, they were shocked. And when I first got there, they were hoping to win. And so when I left, like I said, we were a team. We expected to make the playoffs. We expected to win playoff games, and that's what we're trying to do here. When we lose, we're shocked because we expect to beat everybody, regardless of whomever we're playing, and we play as long as we can. And when we lose, we're upset that we lost because we thought we should have played a couple more football games, and that's what we want to be here.
Gotcha. And so the gentleman sitting to your right there. So tell me who you are. Tell me what you play, and tell me what your contribution is to the team.
Okay, so I'm Bryson Sanders, number 31. I originally played free safety, but with all the new packages we've been installing, I kind of have my own position. Coach Cope likes to call it the Bryson Sanders position. And so I like to play that cover like right over the middle, and I get to play that middle defense. And it's a lot of fun because I just kind of get to fly to where the ball is, and I just get to help everybody out. Like you were talking about earlier, I just get to run as fast as I can and cover over the ball.
Good. So what made you want to play that position?
Well, it was kind of put on me. So last year in spring ball, I was actually a receiver, and I was running with that first group, and I was getting excited thinking, I was going to be a good receiver this year. And about 2 weeks before summer workouts were over, Coach Smith came up to me and he was like, I want to try you out on defense. So I guess just from all of fall camp up to now, I've been working as hard as I can to play defense, and I was just like, my hard work just kind of put me there.
All right. Are you a senior, junior?
I'm a junior.
Okay, so anybody in here is senior?
No, sir.
Okay, that's impressive right there. That, makes me look forward to next year to go, oh my gosh, what do we have that maturity and that from junior to senior year is incredible. So I look forward to seeing that. I don't know what, being an old coach myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can only imagine how you feel.
Now, we have a bunch of underclassmen playing currently for us, and so I think we're all excited about where we're going to go. And to talk about Bryson, with Coach Smith last spring, when we started going, like one day you were on offense, the next day you were on defense. And so that was everybody. So regardless, even Christian English.
Okay.
He would work DB on the opposite day. And so everybody was basically, because we were trying to evaluate all the kids with the new staff coming in, because, if you're a good football player, you're a good football player.
Right.
And, sometimes there's places where the best player might be standing by you at the end of the game, and you need them out there playing.
Right.
And so we tried to teach everybody both sides of the ball, and so that way when it comes down to it, if it's our best 11 and it's the last play of the game, we want to have the best 11 football players we have out there.
Do you feel that helps them, learning both sides of the ball? Does that help them learn those tendencies of that wide receiver?
Well, and that's because we even talk about that. Like, all right, so learn the coaching. So even if you play DB, when on the days you go with the offense, the receiver coach is teaching to stem, how to run through a guy's inside shoulder to get him to do this. And so now when you break back out, you're open.
Right.
And so now as a DB, when I turn around, I realize, okay, this guy is stemming me. He's running here because he's about to go there.
Right.
And so it's very complementary as far as just learning both sides of the ball. And so now when I turn over and I play this, if I'm on the defensive side of the ball, okay, when he does this, he's expecting me to do this. And so now hopefully we're playing a half a step faster to a full step faster, so that way it makes us better than what we really are.
And it becomes the student of the game.
Yes,
that's what I always used to say. Become a student of the game so that you learn how to play it better. And I see that, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate y'all being here. I look forward to seeing y'all Friday night. Oh, these guys behind us. So tell me about these guys behind us, Coach.
Well, they're all safeties.
Okay.
So we play a free and a rover, and then we have the Bryson Colonel Sanders position.
Colonel Sanders, I like that. Let me make that note.
And so right now we have different people, like Lucky works at that same position, and so Jackson is a sophomore, and so to me that's always a hard thing, as a sophomore playing safety. Duran
right behind me. He was on varsity last year. He actually was a corner last year, and we moved him to safety. And so all of them have done a little bit different things, and kind of all of our kids, to me, have done a great job of whatever. So if it's a position switch, have been open to that. And all these, regardless of what we throw at them, all of them, yes, sir. And I'm ready to do whatever we need to do because, like Coach Smith said, all of them are hungry, and everybody enjoys success.
Right.
And so that's hopefully what we'll continue to do.
And it just feeds all the way down the chain. I mean, these guys are hitting people, and I'm up there going, oh, my gosh, I love that. Of course, I worry about your linebackers, Coach, let me be honest, because I know where he's graduated from college, and he and I are from the same territory, so I worry about him a little bit. You may watch him. He may slide some purple in there every once in a while. But, hey, you know what?
Well, hey, if it makes us better, he can slide whatever he wants.
There you go. I appreciate that. You know what, Coach? I appreciate having you here.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you fellas being here. And we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back with Coach Mark Smith and finish this thing up.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Check out why First Community Federal Credit Union is the #1 local auto lender in the Concho Valley.
With great low rates on new, used, and refinance autos, we can save you money. First Community has great payment options and low prices for GAP, extended warranty, and credit life insurance, so we can make your payment fit your budget. So be smart, bank smart, and contact First Community for your auto financing needs.
Dear San Angelo, we share the belief that expectations are meant to be exceeded.
You think a pat on the back and trust should be earned.
You admire those who always do their best and bring out the best in others.
You believe we should always help our neighbor.
You have a history of embracing excellence and professionalism.
You feel the way we treat each other reflects our community's character.
We are proud to say, San Angelo, you are our hometown.
At Schertz Landscape, we care about the quality of trees that you put in your landscape. Therefore, we grow our trees here locally in the Concho Valley. As a certified arborist, I not only care about the quality of your tree being planted, but I am also qualified as a tree risk assessor. I can evaluate the health of an older tree or the risk that it may have to you and your property. Come see us at Schertz Landscape, where we care about the quality of your trees.
Since 1957, Medical Arts Pharmacy has been your neighborhood professionals, welcoming you when you come in and delivering when you can't. Through all the advancements in medicine, therapies, and equipment, Medical Arts has grown with you to make sure your family has the very latest in care. Today, we can offer you immunizations, all of your medicines and special multi-dose packaging, and compounding right here in your neighborhood pharmacy, where some things have changed with the times, but the best things never will. Medical Arts Pharmacy.
And welcome back to Shenanigans with the Bobcat Insider with Coach Mark Smith. I'm Arlen Ponder. He's Zach Carlock.
Okay, Coach, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Now, I'm looking at your note over here on legacy here, and what I notice, what I notice is they tend to give up a lot of points. Their lowest defensive effort was 38 points. You tend to put up a lot of points.
Yeah. I like what you're saying.
Okay.
Keep going.
Yeah. So do we see a correlation here on something you can capitalize on?
I don't know.
Is there a reason they give up a lot of points?
I hope so. I think part of the reason is what we talked about in the first segment. They played really good people. They really did. They played really good people, and when you play teams the caliber of the people they did, they're going to strain you and stress you in ways that maybe other teams won't. So I don't know if it's a true, indication of how well they are on defense.
Sure.
This will be as good a defensive line as we have played this year, probably the best defensive line that we've played. They got tremendous, athletes there. And then, a lot of the times whenever you get down in games early, it just kind of changes the trajectory of the game. You have to start kind of throwing the ball, pressing a little bit more. You might get a few more 3-and-outs, give the other team the ball back, give them more opportunities.
Sure.
Sometimes it can just snowball that way too, and scores get maybe a little distorted with that. But I just want to briefly, Coach Cope and those safeties, they did a great job up here, and they're just well-spoken guys. And, I'm glad that, Bryson talked about, you know, that those couple of weeks, I took the team, you asked about it in the beginning, you know, everybody played both sides of the ball, regardless of your status on the team the year before.
I love that.
And it really created, and I encouraged them, I said, maybe you are a primary offensive or defensive guy, but whenever you're on that other side of the ball, listen to that instruction, listen to that coaching. It'll help make you a better whatever it is at your position. You know, and that's something we'll do again, you know, this spring. Even though we've kind of established that, I think there's great value in doing that, you know, for a short period of time, is getting that work. And you might find somebody just like Bryson, who, man, they were a receiver over here, but they got a knack for a certain skill set that you're looking for on one side of the ball or the other. It's always good to kind of think outside the box that way. And just those guys, really proud of them. They did a great job up here tonight. Really good group.
And being military, Zach can attest to this. You talk about somebody's going to fall out. There's a possibility somebody's got to fall out. You are going to step in, and that's a great thing that you're teaching them to go both ways, kind of thing. Is suppose somebody does fall out and Sanders has to go in and be
right. Go play wideout, which we moved him over there a little bit. He's gotten some work back at wideout even this season as we've gotten thin in that room to a certain extent. So he's ready on an emergency level there as well. That readiness factor that you talk about in the military, certainly we can relate in football.
Sure. And look what happened with Van Sickle.
Sure.
He caught a touchdown pass. I mean, he's a stud linebacker, and he's playing offense. So
Rick Pereskia ran one in right there, another linebacker that ran one in that package. So
I like the way
good
Coach.
stuff.
I like the way Coach said it right before he left, and that the right guy for the play may be standing right next to you in that moment. And if
that's right.
And if it's that young man, Colonel Sanders, there, if it's him, then and you know that, and you got that feeling. You know, you trust that ability that he's had because he may have had the rep or something.
As we put this kind of package in, you know, back the week we played Abilene Cooper, he was the first person that came to our minds as the perfect guy for this role. And he fit the skill set, the demeanor, the intelligence that it takes to play this spot. And then it comes right down to the end of the game, all right? We've just scored. Van Sickle's caught the touchdown pass, and we need one more stop, and there he is. Roaming across the middle of the field, goes and intercepts the ball and seals the game. What a great moment, I know, for he and for his family and everybody, you know, that night. And it got the win. The first one, that was the moment right there. Bryson making that play, sealed that game. It got the moment that started this 3-game win streak. Very proud of him.
And we talked about that may have been, you know, Darren and I talked about it on the air, that may have been the thing that caused this whole season to fall into place.
You know, and I can kind of pinpoint it myself to a little bit right here. I know there was the locker room when we're playing Amarillo High at halftime, okay? And I look back at that moment, and I know that, you know, I was very, you know, truthful and candid in that moment with our team and kind of about where I thought that we were, but also at the same point where I know that we can go. And I told them in that moment, you know, this right here can be a defining moment. This moment in this locker room right now. And I believe that it was. We came out and we played a much better second half. We fought all the way back, and we're just one possession away from winning that game. And then it carried over into a great, strong performance against Cooper, and then a dominant performance against Belton and Waco. You know, I think that in every season you can kind of look and define that's the moment where everything flipped. And I thought it was that moment at halftime. And then, of course, Bryson sealed the game at Cooper, and then now we're on a little roll.
Oh, yeah. So what do you see? One more thing about Legacy. What do you see as their strength, and what do you see as a point that you can capitalize on?
Well, I think that I always try to look at it in terms of, man, if we play our best game, okay, and control what we can control, as long as the Bobcats don't beat the Bobcats, we'll be okay. So I always try to keep the focus internally, at least with the team. Like if we can execute what we're asked to do and do the things that we need to do, you know, and not beat ourselves, then this team is always going to have a chance to win. And I've been so impressed. Let's talk offense now for a minute. I think I told the staff in our Sunday staff meeting, I think that through 5 games of the season, we have had more 10-plus play drives than I've ever been a part of in a season as a high school coach before.
That's a lot of plays.
We've sustained drives, and some of them 14 to 16 play drives that finish with points, and that's hard to do. You know, eventually you're just going to have a self-inflicted wound somewhere along the way, but we just don't do that. You know, we're able to steady, and we've had some just big 1-2 play score drives, but then we've had probably maybe even close to 8 or 9 just 10-plus play drives this season. And I think that's been a real strength of this football team. If we can continue doing that, playing a strong defense, good quarterback play, we'll always have a chance to win. And this team is never out of it. There's no quit to them. They continue to fight, continue to focus on improving. They want to win. They want to bring a championship to the city of San Angelo. And they know to do that, it's just one day at a time, one snap at a time, one rep at a time, staying in the moment right where their feet are to be the best they could be right now.
Well, and you talked about being hungry. Whenever you and I first talked, you said that you wanted players that were hungry. You've got some that they're not only hungry, they're not starving. They're
they're at the buffet.
They're
buffet.
We had a few guys that had what I called a bad case of the want-tos, and when you got a bad case of the want-tos, and that starts spreading throughout your team, that really makes a difference. And we've had more and more that have been infected with that bad case of the want-tos, and winning does that too.
Absolutely.
You win and you're like, man, I like that. I want another dose of that. And then you start seeing, okay, now it spreads amongst the team, and I believe that's the position we're in right now, spreading that bad case of the want-tos.
I'll tell you what else. It doesn't just spread among the team. When the football team has it, then it starts spreading to other sports. And
that's right.
All the programs, the whole program becomes successful.
It goes together, and you can just see it, the excitement. I don't necessarily see it till the game's over, but you've got the fans, you've got the cheer, the drill team, the band, everybody that's out there that's involved that it matters to win, and the excitement, the smiles on their faces, and it's just a wonderful thing when you see that all come together at the end.
That's right. It does. It does. So we're going to wrap it up here, Coach.
All right.
Coach Mark Smith, always great to have you, always great to sit down and talk to you. I always learn something whenever you're talking that I can use, on Friday night, or I can just use personally. It's amazing. I love talking to you.
Right.
Not so much us having Zach here,
Zach was great tonight,
Zach
was good.
Back, I'm sure, someday.
Listen, Darren better get better. I mean, Zach's coming after it right here. Yeah. I hope Darren gets better.
For a living.
Yeah.
So
thank you, Zach.
I appreciate you, Coach.
Glad you were here, Zach. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you being here.
And we're going to get to do it again here in a minute.
We are.
Yep.
So this is Bobcat Insider, presented by Orangetheory Fitness.
Orangetheory
Fitness. Sorry, Orangetheory Fitness. I'm sorry, I can't even read my own writing. But we appreciate them. We appreciate Shenanigans having us. We appreciate all the folks coming out and taking part and listening to us. And we will wrap it up. Have a good night.
Good luck to y'all Friday night,
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.